collecting Mikey somewhere. But we're so happy that you're here, and we're so glad you made it safely. And we're really excited for today. It's going to be a really nice gathering and sharing of words and things like that. But do you want to find Mikey? Okay.
Wow, Kihabo Wolsey, how are you? No, for those of you who don't know who I am, I don't have a name tag. My name is Chief Man. I'm the Turtle Clan Chief of the Ramapo Lenape Nation. We have some of the Turtle Clan elders here, as well as Chief Giddings of the Kyrgyzstan of the Ramapo Lenape Nation, and her second. I'd like to acknowledge Chief Hooker, Chief Chesapeake, the relatives from Pennsylvania, our relatives from where? South Jersey. And the code buddy Lenape are here as well. I want to appreciate and thank you all for being here today. This is a time where our climate has literally changed before our eyes. The most beautiful thing here is that those of us who are not indigenous will get to learn or gather that sense of what community means, right? Because in this time that we're in right now, if we as a community don't come together, that's will this be something that'll be really bad. So we're gonna pass the white Paramus for people to be able to say your name, what nation you're from, and what prayer you might have for today, for all of us, and for the future. I am not scripted, so if I get on somewhere, don't be ashamed to raise your hand, or, So, I'd like to offer a prayer for everyone, say it in our language. I'm just trying to make it short because I know that Chief Man talks too much. Should have been my name, eh? Anishi Kisha Mokwe. Million young Batish Creek, or Kubanab Key. Walked in there, Maki. Maki Drobo Mati, Angel Naswari. Thank you, Creator, for giving us this day. Thank you for our Mother Earth, fire, water. We thank you for all of our relations, two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the ones that fly, that are relatives right there on that screen, the ones that slither, the ones that swim, the ones that travel thousands and thousands of miles to continue make it so that their species can also survive. It's my prayer and my hope that the unification of indigenous people across the world, but more specifically here in the United States, that we realize that Native America is still here, and that we as people need to come together as we have begun to, so that we can save the rest of this country from belonging. Anishik, 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 which is our word for thank you. Thank you for the word of actually, even though I'm standing there, I'm more. Anishik, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, it's She narish editachi shnabo tsesses bashishi ashine de shechiro gladoni de shname ego de neasnishne. So my name is Mila, and I'm from the Demand Nation, all the way from the deserts, and I've been trying to be of service to Chief Ban and Frankie and Nagisa and the whole crew here, and I'm going to help facilitate a little bit. Many of us were here last year while we were at Rutgers, and we had this little tiny ruin. So we wanted to make up for it with like a castle, which I guess was actually just the barn. So the horses had their own castle. But yeah, this whole place was a barn. Not even that for human beings, but in any case, yeah, we're glad we have more space to expand our wings here today. And yeah, just to add to what Chief Man is saying, we're very aware that if we did a full-on introduction of all of us, we probably would be here till sundown. So just pretty please, if you don't mind, your name, your nation, and one word of what you're praying for today. I know we're praying for so many things, but one thing, just one word, if you don't mind, and then pass it. Just so we all can learn who each other are on a basic level. And so yeah, your name, your nation, or what you're representing, if you want to say that, if you're not from a nation specifically, and one word of what you're praying for today. So I will go ahead and, who's a good elder to start with?
Top one to your left.
Okay.
This way, no.
Okay, you've been elders. But I was the beast. I was him. Sorry. Ani Ninduay Lavenda Coloma Relatives, Venesique, Vijikas, Makondolir, Wire, Abrasota, Winona Laduke, here to support the Lenape people. Rich.
Objection. I'm an anchor baby from the 14th Amendment, so I would say, and I'm sorry in advance.
I'm Claire Norland from Samuel City in Monmouth. Our family tax records here Saturday A, which is 9 years before George Washington was elected president. I'm praying for enlightenment and awareness of the nation. And I serve as a historical records person for the Meridian Affairs Commission.
Susan. Community Tiger Gangs from United Nation. Also, Ramos, Chief May, and Mess, and anyone else. I represent Patterson Pacific area.
Good morning. Lahoma, everyone calls me Peaches, Ma'am Jennings, and I'm also from Ralph from Muncie and the Nation.
Migisa Menate, and I guess my origin nation is Japan, but I'm here mostly to support Chief Man of the community in any way I can. Gosh, peaches were my absolute favorite fruit. But when I was a little kid.
Officer Schofield, I'm Migisa's help. But when I'm not doing that, I'm a marine scientist after the ocean.
Oh, so nice.
My name is Nick Kleiman. I suppose my nation is Eastern European Jewry, and I'm here in solidarity. Glad to be here.
First person from Alexander Nation. This is Bubble Falconer. How the Tory goes there? No.
Andrew Perry comes from Pasa Singular Culture Traveling from Maryland today.
That's great.
Yeah, also figured Columbia see up from communities grounds and near.
Wally Albeck, good morning. I am Bettiscope Principal Chief of the Lenape Tribe of Delaware, and my word is reciprocity. Anything that will be demonstrating some of that today. We'll be able to put like
Luapan, Delawin, Sakima, Toke, Escawami, Kisho, Elon, Unami, Lenape. So good morning. My name is Chief Jittlemoon, also known as Chuck the Moon. I am of the Unami clan of the Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania. I am descended from the Villers, the Alberts, Pauls, and Johnsons. And I would like to say that the word today, I think, should be focus on our future for our grandchildren's grandchildren, because we're in dangerous times and we need to make sure they're taken care of.
Hi, good morning. My name is Cinnamon. I could go with peaches. Cinnamon Bear Dreamer Alwyn from the Muncie clan of the Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania. And my word today is to always remember to have gratitude for everything. I hope.
Many college to spirit woman Terry Dislop of the Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania, Nebikin, Kitney, New Jersey. I lived down in Kitney, New Jersey. And my word is for, my prayer is for communication.
Hello, my name is Ellen Rolfe, and I'm from the Muncie clan of Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania. And my words for today are peace and God.
Dawel si Denise och Willie have take away Kamisina, tender-hearted Deepwater sister, spirit name given to me by Terry. I'm extended valley of the Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania. And my prayer for the day is peace among us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gregory Freelaw. I'm from South Jersey. I'm African American, but by marriage or by blood, related in many ways to the Delaware Lenape, the Suje family. My word for today is intentionality.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Theodora Ashby, and I'm known as Teddy Ashby. And I am a descendant of the Sand Hill Richardson in Monmouth County, Lenape. I'm also a genealogist. And my word for today is resilience, because that is what our Native American or indigenous or original peoples had them showing for hundreds of years, resilience.
Good morning. My name is Peter Spillieri. I'm here supporting Chief Man and the farm and everything. Just looking for peace for everybody.
How do you say your last name again?
Spillieri.
Good morning, my name is Jennifer Redhite. I'm here as a friend of Chief Matt in the extended Turtle community. My prayer for today is deep and impact.
Good morning, my name is Kamal Saunders. I'm a trustee at the New Jersey Leadership Conservation Voters Education Funds. I also work at the Mullen Foundation in the Halloween program. I'm also the daughter of this both of you next to me. And my word for today is democracy.
I'm Julia Summers. I'm the Executive Director of the New Jersey Highlands Coalition. My word is water, because WU Center for Westwood, New Jersey gets all their water from the New Jersey Highlands. And we're here because of our great respect for and fondness for the chief and Mike.
My name is Joel Black. I'm here for the Stir of Blacks.
Hello, my name is Drew Rose, and I'm here for solidarity, I guess.
I'm Sam Rose, here half Round Cup, and authenticity would be my word.
Good morning. My name is Keisha Morris-Gill, and I'm a citizen of Lenape Indian Tribe of Delaware. And like Ms. Teddy just mentioned, I would say my word is resilience. Thinking about how we've come so far, and there's so many more behind us, and we'll get through these tough times. Relying on those that come up beyond us. So.
Balakuna Malita, it's good to see you again, my relatives. I'm Courtney Street, a member of Banana Cook Tribe in Millen, Delaware, and my word for the day is seeds for the seats that we have been given and the seats that we will pass.
Malika Namale, Galloway's Corral Hall. I'm also from the Atlantic tribe of Delaware. And my word is Sequana, which is spring and new beginnings.
Lincoln Aloma, Nishinsi Suzanne Kapan Akbari, Bibi Angomati, Mujidayoa, Shoanaki, Wak Makboaki. So ladies, I said, it's good to see you all. My name is Suzanne Kapan Akbari. My relatives come from Europe and also from Rambo West. And I'm happy to be with everybody today. And my word and the thing I'm praying for all of us is strength.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren, I'm Communications Manager here at Duke Farms. Intentions for today are connections and unlearning.
I'm going to pass it on. My three words are support one another.
Rob Flory, retired farmer, lived my whole life in Bannock and Hokie, and my intention for today is listening and community.
Taiwei tau maptia ituno kena atia ono. Biri wasaura iukayeke wainia dani United Confederation Taino Peoples Wani. Good afternoon, Grand Rising. I caught the conversation outside about Grand Rising and not saying good morning, which is beautiful. My name is Wasaura. I'm representing not only my PI at Rutgers as a PhD student, but also rendition with Iukayeke Wainia Chief Roberto Caro Barrero. So we are here to serve. Thank you. And this is Ahraud.
You're warm up today. So I have just a housekeeping thing. I should actually let somebody else say this because it's just not culturally correct for me to say it, but I will. So on the grounds of Duke Farms, that we cannot smoke outside, and I don't know, but I would imagine that if you were in your vehicle, that that's like your sovereign spot. And the reason why I say that is because we all know that, tobacco is one of the most incredible gifts from our Creator. We use it in many different ways. And even though some of us smoke because we've got nothing better to do, or we have to try to relieve that anxiety, we also pray while we're doing that, right? But out of respect for the Duke Farm, if we can kind of curtail that, even though we're going to distribute probably 100,000 of Lanabe Masi Tobacco seats today.
Sorry.
That's what I got. And right now I'm going to pass the mic so that everybody else can finish speaking.
So my name is Lila June, and I'm from the Diné Nation, also incorrectly known as Nabo. And I think my prayer today is to see what Creator has to say and to be listening.
Hi, I'm Gila Big, also here for PASA Sustainable Agriculture, and in solidarity and my word for today.
Hello, my name is Margaret Baba. I'm the director here at Duke Farms, and my word for today is community.
I'm Carrie Hilhing with Public History Project, and my word today is ecosystems.
Thank you. So I guess at this point we're going to, have Margaret here from Duke Farms kind of give us some welcoming remarks and to maybe orient us a little bit here on Lenape lands. Thank you very much. You can stand. I'm going to wing it, because that's used to be the spirit of today. Yes, I'm Margaret Welbeck. I'm the executive director here at Duke Farms. And what is this place, you may be wondering? This is a Center of Environmental Conservation and Sustainability of the Doris Duke Foundation. Doris Duke was a woman who was born on the turn of the 20th century into immense wealth and privilege, and she died in the 90s. And throughout her life, she pursued passion and purpose and was just generally curious about the world. And when she died, she left her entire estate to charitable purposes and established the Doris Duke Foundation, which today administers her assets that she left for that mission of a creative, equitable, and sustainable future, investing in health and well-being, arts and culture, and nature protection. And we do that through grant making, but also two places that were very important to her, this place, Duke Farms, and her home in Hawaii. And so today, Duke Farms is advancing that mission, focusing on environmental restoration and demonstrating climate solutions and also engaging people in the wonder of nature. So welcome to Duke Farms. This is all happening on the traditional lands of the Munsee and Anami-speaking people and the caretakers of Winnebahoking. And we recognize their presence here today, past and present. And the Raritan River is right to our north, traditional conveyance, place of conveyance and connection. And we recognize the reciprocal relationship that Indigenous people have long handled the land, air, and water of this place. And recognize also that our role as stewards of this place is to reconnect people, realizing that part of the history of this land is also the history of displacement and erasure. And so our role as stewards of this place is to reconnect people, Indigenous people, to this land. So yes, this was a barn at one point. It is now a LEED certified building. All the electricity here is coming from solar and battery generation on site. So green electricity here, and a representation of our mission in action. You can also look at these beautiful meadows behind you, former pastures, now wildlife habitat. And I hope you get a chance to get outside today, and maybe the sun will come out for all of you. Enjoyed 1,000 acres of trails in nature here. You've also seen the eagles, I think, on the screens here. This has actually had some conversations with folks this morning about just what gives you hope these days, and I'll say these eagles give me hope. This is a representation of our active work to restore the landscape here, native plant communities and animal communities. And this year, for the first time in 10 years, we have 3 eaglets on the nest. And we were a little nervous because typically there's only 3 eggs will get laid, 2 only hatch. But I feel like that third chick is a moment of hope for us in these times because they're thriving, and you can see the results of our work in the nest of the fish and all of the food that's showing up as those parents are active with hunting and supporting those lilies. And keep an eye on the camera because in May they will all fledge, and there will be 3 eagles in the skies flying over New Jersey. So I want to also say that, we're really glad that you're here today and honored that you're here, all these esteemed guests and the chiefs and the elders. And we want to convey to you a gift. We have seeds too here. And for all the chiefs that are here today, we want to convey to you, again, a local pawpaw tree raised here at Duke Farms and pawpaw seeds. Please take them with you as you leave and accept that as our gift to all of you as a symbol of our commitment to fellowship and shared stewardship of this land and people. So, thank you, very cool. Thank you. I think at this point we wanted to hear from the chiefs. And so I wanted to pass it to Chief Coker, if you're open, and then Chief Demon, and then Chief Mann to share really whatever you'd like to share to welcome people.
Thank you, Isla. Yes, I'm Dennis Coper. My community is located in the great state of Delaware, in the Dover area near its capital. And, I've been honored to represent my community for a number of years now. The work is very challenging. It's relentless, but it's very rewarding as well. So our presence here today is in support of Chief Mann and his focus on agriculture. Hopefully this year will be the debut of the Lenape's Agricultural Initiative. So we're very excited about that. We have been engaged in a couple of environmental advocacy projects in my community. We're doing a reforestation project in our community, an area called Fort Branch, which is the site of an early school that we had there, which dated to 1880. Those schools that we had, there was two actually in my community in my lifetime, were attended solely by Indian children. So that was very unique. The Nanticotes had schools very similar to ours as well. And we had a church there, so we have cemeteries that are in that vicinity, very sacred area for us. We've been working on an edible forest garden in that vicinity. And also, over the last couple of years, we've been working on reintroducing the freshwater mussel in our waterway there, which has been very rewarding. We initially started out to assess the probability or the possibility of reintroducing that freshwater mussel. And to our amazement, we found mussels everywhere we looked in the Lipstick River watershed. So that was very unique, very surprising. So engaging our youth in this work has been somewhat challenging for us. Our youth are so distracted today. They have so many devices that they find it difficult to separate from, to get out in the wilds. A couple of years ago, I was working with the state of Delaware on an initiative called Child in the Wild, which was developing strategies for getting our children back out in nature so that they can appreciate the gifts that our Mother Earth provides to us daily. It's amazing how everything that we need for life is outside of our doors. You know, everything, food, medicines, water, if you can find clean water. You know, we are so gifted by the presence of the spirit of nature. And, you know, a lot of the work that I do is focused, the advocacy that I move around and do presentations, is to remind the non-native that we have lost touch up to what is sacred in our lives, and that relationship with our Mother Earth and our Father Sky is the most sacred relationship that we have. And we need to bring it front and center in our lives again. And I think that this Duke Farm, Doris Duke, was working towards that herself in her lifetimes. But it's up to us to continue that legacy locally. I mean, it's very difficult to change the regional scene, the international, the national, but we certainly can work locally to make a difference. And I think that we all have the power to do that by engaging our local municipalities, our local watersheds. You know, we really need to be the stewards of those living entities. So as I move about and talk about today, you know, I'll be looking forward to discussing with anyone who may want to brief some of the subjects. So I'm just very happy. So thank you for this honor, and I will be available to talk to that. Thank you so much for this.
Greetings, everybody. I am Chief of the Lenape Nation of Pennsylvania. I'm not going to say too much. I usually don't speak before noon. So I do want to report that we continue our struggle, of course, with the state of Pennsylvania refusing to accept us as an indigenous group in Pennsylvania, and the struggle that we had at that state level and federal level through colonialism. But what I want to do is everybody put together beautiful words in prayer that we all united together here today. So I'm going to ask some of my community to come up, my ladies to come up and help me rattle a song up. For us, for prayers, you know, we rattle them up too at the end. So we're going to do an opening song here. The words in it are Gishri Manitou and Mamuwe Amalana. And it's creative or standing here. Anybody knows it or wants to sing along? Pretty old song. It's not mine, but we're going to try it. Very quickly that I have begun speaking with Chief Mann about coming together and doing some work down on the farm with them and some of our community members, and we're eternally grateful to that. We don't have a land base in Pennsylvania at this time. We're constantly working for that. And it's important that we sustain our people, and we're happy and thankful that Chief Mann will help assist us with that moving forward. It's really important now during these times that, you know, we get back to the earth and put our hands back in that soil and get something growing for our people. No funny shit.
He who talks too much. You can see that when it comes to us human beings who carry all of this, right? But there's a purpose for that, right? Purpose for that is that when we enter times like we're in now, those of us in our communities that seemingly have this back, right? And then we look at our community, we see that our community looks all thin, frail, wrecked. And it's at that time where we're able to take what we have and give to our communities to lift our people up above ourselves. If anyone that you ever knew claims to be a leader in any shape or form, who would never be willing to be the last one to eat, either that there was nothing on those plates, that is not a leader, right? The people who run to the front of the line, those aren't leaders. Leaders truthfully are the ones who come together, like all of you who are sitting here today, because you want to hear about yourself. You're all here for the greater good. We could even go as far as to say the greater good of all humanity at this point. Right? Because there's not one of us that doesn't know somebody or ourselves who have been affected or who hasn't been affected by what the real climate is right now. The significance of that rattle that you were hearing, right? That's the sound of creation. So when the Creator, Disha brought us into existence and all the things that we know, that's the sound. It's also why when our children are born into this world, that the thing that is given to them is a rattle. It's because they are coming from the spirit world and they understand and they are so in tune, right, with that sound. And it reminds them of the place that they just came from. And so the sound of that rattle is about that, right? The sound of creation. And that also leads into, the seed. Right? Seed is a living relative of ours. Most people would look at a seed, no matter what it is, and think that, oh, it's just that. And then miraculously, something happens in the soil or in Antarctica. Right? Gets fertilized. It grows under the soil or in the belly. And then over time, when it's ready, it then breaks that soil and comes out into the world. That is just such an incredible revelation for all of you who may not carry that understanding that we too, right, humans, coming into this world, being born, everybody looks at the baby and everybody's like, oh, how beautiful that baby is. You know darn well that you're probably sitting there going, oh my God. Great, give you a prize. But those little kids, right, they struggle, right? They come into this world with the utmost humility, right? Because they cannot feed themselves, clothe themselves, warm themselves, cool themselves, change their diapers. They can't do any of that. And our women and our men and our communities will always take and do that before those children were born into this world. Fast forward, they turn two. Look, do I ask the world? I really did. I have to say that the only child that I ever know to be born into this world who was not terrible at 2 years old was me. That's because I would always wake up underneath the table. And I remember my dad, having to wake me up under that table, but it couldn't just pull me out because my butt would always be in the air and my head would be down, and I would get stuck. But terrible twos, right? And kids are off the wall, they're like, wow, this whole brand new world here, and they enjoy that. And then they become teenagers, and then it's like, holy, give me the terrible twos, right? But because of us as parents, right, as the caretakers of those little humans, we guide them, right? They may be, walking a little bit to the right, and we're over there pushing them back to the left, so they find the middle and walk that line of balance, And then as they begin to hit the sun, they get education, they get cars, they understand freedom, and then all of a sudden they become young adults. They get jobs, they start participating, and then they become elders, which we have several in this room, which by Noah is not. Well, yeah, you're headed. But Jack is definitely an elder. And I won't call you an elder, Auntie. But you are an elder. And so, but when our living relatives, the human being, gets to be, 70s and 80s and 90s and over 104 years old was my great aunt, right? And they give back, right, in the form of knowledge, in the form of, being there as a shoulder, to lean on, all that. The similarity between that human journey is the exact thing as that seed that we are talking about, right? That seed of the vegetable or a tree, a plant. And we take those seeds and we put them into the soil. And we put water over them. And we put a lid on top of it so that the humidity is just right, just like when a baby is inside your mother. And then it sprouts, right? Some of those seeds are like standing right up, right? And they get their first leaves, what they call cow yeah, right. Kali, Don, close that. I'm close. And so, I know I can go on, but this is really important, right? This part. And some of those seeds come out of the soil, and the actual membrane, it holds their leaves together, right, Pete? Like all those sound couples we got started. And so we have to care of that plant, right? Because they too, that little seed, right? Utmost humility, can't do anything more. So can't provide some water, but can't do any of that. And then that little seed that struggles, if we help it along, right, because of our humility, right? That seed the plant begins to grow. And just like the terrible twos, right? Then it's like a relentless teenager. And then it becomes a young adult who's graduated college and has a car, their own apartment, they're paying their bills, right? And they're going along life in a good way. And when those plants that we nurture and that we care for become the elders, right, in their lifetime, because remember, you live your entire lifetime, no matter whether it is 1 second or 104 years old. Either you're or not, right? Anywhere in between there. And the same thing for these plants, right? So when those plants become those elders, they give back. Their gift to humanity, right? Their gift back to the plant world and all the relatives that live in the soil and in the air is in the form of food, of fruit, that we then get, right, to nurture ourselves. We are then given more seed, right, to continue to propagate. It is not a wasteful exercise. It is one that is of true life. Whether it is a human being, whether it is a four-legged, whether it is a fish, whether it's a bird, right there. How many of us in this room know that phrase, the sacred dollar? That right there is showing us that the natural world which we are a part of, not that which we control, not that we look at as something separate to ourselves, right, is rebounding. I mean, I have so much pride and honor when I walked in and I saw that out there, right? My name is Batalani Wet Monato. So, Wakalani Way is equal. Though let's so you can share that second, I don't mind, because we don't necessarily do that either. Wider public, so my hope and prayers is that today you will all take all these words that you have heard, understand that we have communities that don't necessarily have their leaders here today, right? But those community members who are here are also leaders, regardless if somebody gives them a title. So share, right? Share, learn, understand that we today taking ourselves as this is our event. We're not saddled up next to anybody, even though they're our friend, right? This is for you all. This is your event. And lastly, I would just like to also thank, not just Nagisa and Oscar, but Asa, right? Asa has also helped us to make this possible today, too, right? But if it wasn't for the few of us to stand up and say, hey, okay, let's jump into this and see what we can shake out of the tree, it wouldn't have been, right? So we too have to take on that inherent responsibility, not just for the past, but also for the future. So with that, Rishi, thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have some extra time, so I wonder if it might be okay to hear from some of the elder women. I would love to also give the women some time to speak as well. Would you be open to sharing a little bit, my dear relative, with the group here?
Okay. Anything you want.
Okay.
Adi, would it be too much for you to get a little closer? Or you can tap down.
I've been working on the Menacing Trail for the last couple of years, and I just submitted a grant for a marker request to the Pomeroy Foundation, and I'm in the process of getting the primary sources copied and in the mail to them. Menacing Trail goes through Monmouth County, starts at the ocean at the Navesink River, where we're in a moment, cuts across Middletown and Reeson, comes up to New Brunswick, and it's up 206. It cuts over the the Delaware River, up by Menacing House, where the Council of Liars were. Last summer, when my friend and I taught a class at Brookfield College on the Menacing Trail, taking people on a tour as if you were in a car. And that was fun. And been speaking on it around for the last part of the year. So this is the marker that goes in Manawan. We've got 3 markers in Middleton so far. And this marker will go in Manawan, where there's a section of the Menacing Trail that is unpaved, which is unusual because most of the trail has become highways, a part of the New Jersey highway system. And we've got pictures of en masse, and got a lot of material out of the state archives from the 1660s, and everything goes back to the very beginning of the European settlers' kind. So that's been my project, and it's almost finished, and glad to share it with you today. And if they accept it, we'll have another marker for the Menacing Trail, which was a major pathway down the shore.
would you like to share any words before we move on? Or yeah, yes, no pressure. You can also pass.
I am Claire Garland's cousin, and I'm an elder with the Sand Hill Band of Indians, descendants. But my focus is on genealogy. So I have been researching all the descendants of Indian Ike and Elizabeth. So because we had planned on having a big celebration in 2026, and I'm trying to make sure that all 8 children's descendants will be in attendance at that function, which will take place in Monmouth County, New Jersey. And may I say, as I find them and make them aware of the connection to the original people, they have never been told. I didn't realize that so many of my passing members did not know from whence they came. So that is my vision and project, and I hope to have it all done for our 2026 celebration, the Holocaust part of that year in Monmouth County. So he's in beach returns. So thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I may connect myself with Pennsylvania, okay. Just jump not yet, New Jersey. All right. Thank you so much for letting me take a few minutes of your time.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sylvan. I'm in my 83rd year, I'm sorry. My life is I am the recovering alcoholic, and my life is surrounded about helping people who have that disease and understanding that we all have people that they need help. I still work. I work at Walgreens Pharmacy. The other day I was in there and a woman came in drunk and they were going to call the police on her. And I said, may I talk with her? And I did. I found out that she is Cherokee. Right now she's in Carrier Clinic. Actually, I spend my life with helping Native Americans that have this disease. We got this disease from the white man bringing it over, and we were not used to it. Our bodies couldn't accept it. We have a terrible allergy toward it. And so that's what I do, and I've been doing it for 43 years. I've worked with recovering Native Americans, anyone that has this disease, to understand that they're not evil person, that they have a disease and that there is help for them, and they can follow the beautiful red road and be good. It's a good thing.
As someone who started doing drugs and alcohol when I was 11 years old and didn't quit till I was 23, I appreciate that. Son, I'll be 13 years sober this December. So yeah, you might be asking yourself, what are we all doing here today? And we really wanted to allow the stewards of this land and the chiefs to welcome us first. And we have a really wonderful lineup of speakers today. But I love what Nagisa said to me earlier. She said, even if we don't get anything done today, but we just are together and we weave connections and we enjoy ourselves and we get to know each other, that will be a success. And so that's really our deeper goal, is to just continue to weave connections. We are curious, what would be the next steps that this group is envisioning, if any. The first time we met, we were kind of gathering information about what our ancestral foodways were. You might remember that I was scribbling on the notepad. We recorded all of that, and we had it, and it was very enlightening to see pretty much every single person who spoke share about their family traditions with foods. And it was enlightening to see how strong, even though people said, oh, I don't do food, but then they had all these stories about food, to see how much generational knowledge is held within this circle about foodways. Of course, we, many of us in this room believe that strengthening our local food systems is paramount. It's not a very trendy or cool thing people do in the world these days, but we believe it's really important to prepare ourselves to frankly survive. A lot of the American food systems are very fragile and precarious, and they are dependent completely on vaccines, antibiotics, pesticides, herbicides, etc., which only really hold you up for so long until what we're seeing now, where even though they're pumping these poor birds, these poor chickens full of antibiotics, they're still getting sick, because they're not meant to all live like that. That's just not the way Creator made the world. Creator made the world to live free and to live in a diverse situation where there's lots of different species coexisting, and that's what makes it strong. Just like any investor will say, you never want to invest all your money in one thing, because if that collapses, then you have nothing. So you always want to diversify your portfolio and invest in lots of different things. The same is true in nature. If we only have chickens in an entire warehouse, and that's the only species there, it just takes one bacteria or one virus to learn the genome of that chicken, and it will wipe out the whole thing. Whereas if you have a really biodiverse system, it's really resilient and resistant to disease. And so Tropicana is going bankrupt right now. The potatoes have, I forget what it was, like a fungus or something, hitting a lot of the potatoes. And this is things that our elders always knew was going to happen. We've been talking about this for decades, if not centuries, that there was going to come a time when the American food system was going to stop working. Because it's not like it's something is wrong today. Something has always been wrong for centuries. And we're finally reaping what we're sowing. And that's like Chief Ren, that's not always a bad thing. That's not something to be afraid of, because it's a catalyst for community, and it's a catalyst for change. And a lot of our indigenous civilizations throughout Turtle Island, they already have experienced collapse. We already rose and fell before Columbus was ever born. And when we collapsed, we learned, okay, that doesn't work. No, do that again. And so our elders have known this was going to happen for a long, long time. And so we in this circle and people around the world really are understanding that it's really important to rebuild our food systems right now. I love that these pawpaw trees are going to be distributed, and not just rebuild the foods, but rebuild the whole web of relationships, because they all depend on each other. Everything Creator put here has a purpose. And so if you remove the wolf, that's going to have a consequence. If you remove the chestnuts, that's going to have a consequence. Everything has its role within these systems. And so I think between all of us in this circle, we have pieces of the puzzle. And that's what we're trying to do, is get us all together to put our pieces together and to rebuild our foodways in a very real, tangible way, not in the Lila June kind of way where you just write about it and talk about it. But I'm trying to be more like the Chief Man kind of way, where I'm actually putting seeds in the ground and really experiencing the joy of the moment you put that seed in the ground to the moment you harvest it to the moment you share it. And I love that whenever I go to Chief Man's farm, he's always excited to share the tomatoes he grew or whatever things he grew. And you can feel and taste the nutrition in it, not just the physical nutrition, but the spiritual nutrition, that his intention and his prayer when it's not food. So we're really here trying to mobilize this group and all of our communities to, in a very tangible, real way, to build our food systems up and to help each other do that. And I know that your nations are not just farmers and gardeners in the Western sense of rows and irrigation and stuff, but gardening the whole earth, and seeing that the earth is already a garden. If we know how to take care of it, you know how to tend it. I learned from our last session that you guys are extraordinary fishermen and fisherwomen, and the fish that is already in the water is such an important relative to you guys. And so how do we even up with those things? I love hearing about the freshwater mussel and all the amazing work you're doing to rebuild those systems. So much of the work is already being done in this circle, and much of it is still in our dreams and in our visions for what we want for our children. And so I think what this gallery today is about is taking those visions and taking those dreams and starting to speak them out into the open, and starting to see what ways those of us in the circle can support each other. Because some of us are kind of well experienced and well seasoned in the process, and some of us are just getting started. But we do want to, as much as possible, to not wait until next spring. We really do want to get the food going for our people, because it is a very real thing. Where my father always told me, everything you buy in the grocery store comes on a semi-truck, and all of those semi-trucks rely on fossil fuels. Everything you're buying in your furniture, your store, so that's all fine, but be prepared for one day those trucks aren't going to run. What are you going to do then? And I know that's kind of an extreme view. At least I hope it is, but maybe it's right on the dot. I don't know. But it is at least partially true that these systems are not going to be functioning the way that they did in the 50s and the 60s and 70s. And they were always dishonoring for the earth. Those monocrops of wheat, the monocrops of cotton, the monocrops of oranges and almonds. None of this was ever honoring the earth. And so it was never really going to work in the first place. But now we're finally coming to a turn where it's really, even on the late night comedy shows that I watch, they're saying, oh wow, we ran out of potatoes today. Or this whole crop is suffering. And so not only to rebuild those food systems, but there in that process to rebuild our bodies, right? Because one time my elder said, you are the net, Lila, but you do not eat what makes you the net. And I was like, what does that mean? And what he meant was that, my people, we eat churro sheep. We have this beautiful four-horned sheep that we've been taking care of for millennia. And we eat corn from our desert homeland. We eat squash from our desert homeland. We eat piñon nuts from our piñon trees. We eat amaranth. And we eat all of the beautiful tubers that you can find in the deserts. We eat the deer. We eat the bison. We used to have bison in New Mexico as well. And so when you stop eating those things, your DNA isn't made up of those things anymore. Your DNA isn't interconnecting with those things. And our bodies ate that for so long that they're used to that. And now without it, not only eating it after it's dead, but being in relationship with it while it's still alive. My elder said, when you breathe in the breath of your sheep, all the microbiome in their lungs goes into your lungs, and you are having a a microbial exchange. And they said their breath is perfect for you as a Vedek woman. And they said the crazy thing is the sheep need your breath to complete them. You need each other. And so the sheep even need no other human in the world except my people can give them what they need. And no other sheep in the world can give my people what they give us. And so it's when they're still alive, there's this microscopic microbial web connecting everything, even us in this room, and our breath exchanges. And that little tether is really actually very important. And it has its own needs and its own world. I like that from the Ant-Man, Quantumania, where it goes into the quantum realm. And there's like this whole, there's a lot of stuff going on in it, you know? And I think that's totally true with the microbial scale as well. There's so much going on with our little tiny relatives. And that was part of how we fertilize the soil, the mycelium, and the earth. So it's really not only about rebuilding our food systems to feed our people, it's about rebuilding those connections and rebuilding those relationships so that our bodies can be whole again. So no matter who you are, it's so important to eat your traditional foods for your DNA to be whole and to be complete in that way. So I'm just sharing all that because I want to prepare us to get into small groups, actually. I want to support us,
Sorry, before we do that, I think we should probably have. So over the last year, we have made a lot of progress. And one of the ways we made progress is Corel and Courtney have been growing Three Sisters crops here locally, like maybe just a half an hour away. So I asked them to prepare a story about what they have been doing. So maybe we should ask them to share that. And I also want to recognize, like, Sam Rose was really helpful, and he drove down to Delaware with me, and we planted plants at Chief Coker's community center, future community center land, and those plants have actually grown quite well. We're pretty exciting. And he diligently watered them through the drought, so it's amazing. They actually did grow. and then we successfully, Chief Coker finally signed a 40-acre lease down in Delaware, right near the future community center, to grow food there. So I'm really excited. So one thing, I'm giving you some possible ways to start thinking and talking, and in community. And PASA has worked so hard to support Chief Man's Whittingham lease. So we have another 40 acres up in North Jersey that we're starting to work on. I think the big missing for me is how to help the PA community have some land to steward themselves and help them to start growing. So maybe PASA, we can work together to figure out how to get Chief Demund and his community some land to steward. Really, it's just very interesting. We've been able to get a lot of public lands that people are willing to ask us to steward, and we can grow food in community and support each other. And so that might be another way. But so I'll try to give you some examples as we start to talk more, because you really, little by little, step by step, not in the same way, different ways, we can help each other to maybe find a path to food sovereignty again. So with that, I'm hoping that you will be willing to start to tell everybody about your story. So let me give it to Carla.
You have some images, but I don't know how it's possible to project them in any way.
Do you guys have a projector?